Hi everybody, it's Krish Kandaya here. Happy Children's Mental Health Week. We're so excited that this year the theme is This Is My Place. We want to make sure that everybody, wherever they're from, whatever they're wrestling with, whatever's on their minds, whatever emotions they're facing, feel safe at school and feel like they belong. And we want to make sure that there's a person in their lives who's trustworthy that they can talk to about the things that they're finding maybe a bit overwhelming. And so we thought to kick this off, you might have some questions about mental health. You might have some worries or some concerns. And so we asked children around the country to send in their questions to our friend David Trickey. He's a consultant clinical psychologist, which means he's got all the qualifications to know more about my brain than I do. And one of the questions in particular, hang on for it at the end, is from someone who's had to try to make the UK their home after having to leave Ukraine and the war. And as you listen in, you might get some ideas yourself about how you and I can make sure that everybody feels school is theirs. This is my place, that school is for them.
What should I do if I feel sad or worried and can't stop thinking about it?
Taeyeon, that's a great question. Now, as we've just heard, feelings like sadness or worry are completely normal and healthy. I actually felt quite worried about being here with you this morning, but that worry meant that I woke up early and I was able to think about what I might say. And then when my worry had helped me prepare, then I didn't feel worried anymore. So feeling sad or worried isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if it's on your mind all the time, or if it's got too big and it's stopping you getting on with things you want to do in life, then there are things you can do to help. So, when you play dodgeball, dodging the ball is a really good thing and keeps you in the game. Well, when it comes to emotions that are getting too big, dodging is not so helpful and keeps things going. So you might feel really sad about something or really worried about something, and because you don't like that feeling, you push it away. But that doesn't really sort it out, and then it comes back again. So if you really want things to change, then you have to stop and think about what's causing that feeling instead of pushing it away. And a great way to right size things is to talk it out with someone that you trust, a teacher, a parent or carer, a good friend, sometimes even a pet can help. And that way you get to use the rational thinking parts of your brain, and that balances out the emotional feeling bits of your brain.
We learn how to keep our bodies healthy by exercising and eating well. But what can we do to look after our minds?
Thanks, Rob. That's another great question. And three things that really help, and it's related to my last answer. First one is to stop and think about your feelings. Be curious about what's going on inside your mind. Noticing them and thinking about them is a great way to stop them getting on top of you. And often the very best way to do that is to speak to someone else about them. The next thing is to connect with other people. Having the support of those around you can really help you with the ups and downs of life. So, spending time with others, playing games, having chats, connecting with people is really useful. I mean, the best football teams spend a lot of time together, not just practicing football, but actually getting to know each other and connecting with them. And then the third tip is to practice being hopeful. So, what are you looking forward to? What are your hopes for the future? Maybe when you're an adult, maybe next year at school, or maybe just for the rest of the day. What are your hopes for the future? Hopefulness is like a muscle; it gets stronger the more that you use it.
How can we help a friend if they're feeling upset or having a hard time?
Ah, Sophie, your friends are so lucky to have you as a friend. What a lovely question. So, the first thing to say is that if your friend is struggling, don't think that you have to fix it. You can be really helpful just by being a companion. It's a bit like if someone's walking up a hill with a big, heavy backpack on, you don't have to give them a piggyback and carry their bag all the way to the top of the hill. Just coming alongside them saying, "Hi, do you want some company?" can make a real difference. So, did you know that hills actually look less steep if you have a friend with you? So having a good friend like you, Sophia, just alongside actually makes things look different. So if your friend is struggling, you can go towards them and ask, "How are you doing?" And if they've got tough stuff going on, don't try and fix it. Just be with them and say, "Wow, that sounds really tough. Do you want to tell me more?" Just being with them and helping them to talk it through can be really helpful. And if you think they need a bit more help, then you could suggest that you go and speak to an adult, and perhaps you could offer to go with them if they're finding that difficult. But it's Sophia, it sounds like one day you'll be really good at my job.
Now, my work at the Sanctuary Foundation means I meet a lot of children who are refugees. Many children from Ukraine came to the United Kingdom and found sanctuary here. We've got a question from Daniel, who's struggling with something pretty serious, and we'd love your perspective on it. Hey, Daniel, it's lovely to see you again. You were brilliant on the first ever Great Big Live Assembly, and you came to Downing Street to deliver a petition to the government on behalf of Ukrainian refugees. Can you remember some of the feelings you had when you left Ukraine and you arrived in the United Kingdom?
I was a bit scared and anxious. At first, school was really, really hard for me because I didn't really know much English. I only knew some words, so I couldn't talk much. I was also missing my dad that is still in Ukraine. I had a lot of nightmares. It was really scary.
Yeah, yeah. And how is it now?
Now I can talk English really well and I don't have much nightmares. School is easy to talk to people, and I made a lot of English friends now.
Oh, that's great to hear. What were some of the things that helped you feel less anxious?
It was my family and my friends.
Wonderful. Oh, you've done a good job there, Daniel. Now, what about a question? Is there anything you'd like to ask our expert on mental health?
Will I stop having nightmares about hearing the siren and beat my fear of bombing? Will I ever forget what happened and will I ever feel safe?
Wow, big questions. David, could you offer Daniel some assistance?
Yeah, of course. Daniel, thank you so much for your honesty and those questions. Talking about these things can be really difficult. The thing about nightmares is that they are our brain's way of making us think about really difficult things that have actually happened or things we're worried that will happen. And usually they're so difficult or scary to think about during the day, we push them away. Understandably, we don't want to think about them. But at nighttime, when we're asleep, our brain takes that opportunity to try to make us think them through. It's a bit like having your clothes in a drawer. And if they're in a big, messy pile, you can't close the drawers and you keep seeing them all the time. The best thing you can do is to take hold of them, fold them up neatly, and put them away. And then you can close the drawer and they'll stay put. So, the best thing about nightmares and not feeling safe, even though it's difficult, is to think them through on purpose during the day with someone else when it's light and when you know that you are safe. And that will help put the memories behind you. It'll help to change the way that they are and help them and the worries to stay put.